I am. I don't know anything about it. I'm just saying
That I need to hear about.
Yeah.
Like a big king salmon?
Yeah, like a nice king salmon. I don't, like I said, I don't remember
How
the
come
details.
how come no one does it? Like there's 1,000 boats on the lake, they're all trolling.
It's
Like
tough,
there
but
ain't.
it's not as efficient. Like,
Yeah,
some.
but it's more fun, no? Like I would pay a guide to say, take me jigging, let's try it.
Yeah, but if he said you're gonna pay all that money and he's gonna say, "Oh, there's, you might have to come 8 or 9 times."
Hello and welcome to episode 27 of the NJ Multi-Species Podcast. I am Joe Santiago. As always, my partner, Chris Pereira.
What's up?
Tonight's topic, the strongest, I shouldn't even say the strongest, basically the best fighting fish, freshwater, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York. I have a ton of people coming on to voice their opinions. We've broke it into 3 categories, which are pound for pound, head shake and speed, and power and weight. So those are the 3 categories. We're going to take a bunch of opinions on it. It's probably going to start some great arguments. But before that, we have a ton of news. Kurt Hofig was supposed to be on the show tonight, but he has COVID horrible. So get well soon, Kurt Hofig, and we'll have you back on.
Yeah, we'll put him on a later date. Well, I'm rescheduling him already.
Yeah, we'll have him on. Knee Deep Club. Knee Deep Club had a hybrid tournament. First place, Jeff Good from Oak Ridge, 7 pound, 5 ounces. Hunter Good from Oak Ridge, second place, 7 pound, 1 ounce. And Jack DeBulas, Fanwood, 6 pounds, 8 ounces. I personally got to fish in the Round Valley, the first ever Round Valley Veterans Tournament. It actually was an unbelievable experience. I have to applaud Mike Connery and Andy Lafney for putting that event on.
Yeah, that looked awesome.
It really was, Chris. To see the guy that I got put on with, my vet Ray. His name was Ray. This guy, there's a lot of line out on the lead core, because one of the fish he hooked was on a 7 color. I mean, this guy laughed from the minute he couldn't stand, so he had to fight from the front seat out of the back of the boat. But yeah, he sat there, and from the moment I handed him the rod till the fish hit the net, he laughed. This guy laughed the whole day. It was just great. A great experience. I hope they do it again. Count me in 100%, and it was awesome.
Yeah, do you know how long they've been doing it?
This was the first one ever.
No, are you sure?
Yeah, this was the first one that they've ever done.
I could have sworn Mike said they usually do it earlier or something. Maybe he wanted to do it earlier in the year or something.
Whatever this was the first annual one, and this was the first one ever. There was actually the congresswoman was there that's running against Bob Menendez. She said hello. She sponsored. I have to get her card. Her husband won the tournament, so yeah, vote for her though. Bob Menendez sucks.
Is he? Her husband is.
Yeah, Cusick. The last name's Cusick. I'm pretty sure.
Round Valley.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
whatever.
I just want to point out real low energy at the beginning of this podcast, and then you started talking about trolling, and John Grabolini is rolling around. He's done. He turned it off already.
I'm sorry, John. They are throwing a catfishing tournament for $30 for Dave Aw. Unfortunately, Dave Aw's cancer has come out of remission. September 30th. It's $30 to enter. The biggest flathead of the night wins. All that info is online. That's for a good cause. We're also raffling off a Yeti cooler. It's a Yeti Tundra 65 in any color you choose that's in stock. That's $20. That's also on Mayhem. All the info to enter that. All the proceeds from the cooler raffle also will go to Dave Aw.
And there's no limit. There's no limit. You could buy as many tickets as you want. It's just $20 ticket. Every ticket is an entry into the raffle. That's it.
And actually, Dave Aw just bought a ticket for himself, so he wants to win the cooler. So I'm actually going to ask Dave Aw, like, Dave, do you want the raffle proceeds, Dave, or do you just want a Yeti cooler? We'll buy you a Yeti cooler if that's what he wants. Like, instead of giving him the money, I'll just buy him a Yeti cooler. What do you want?
I don't know, maybe.
Let us know, Dave. You could have anything you want. But yes, if you can afford it, please donate to one of those. I know a lot of guys that aren't even fishing the catfish tournament. They just donated the $30 entry.
Yeah, you throw in a couple bucks, even if if you can afford it and you want to help out, and even if you don't want to fish the contest or whatever. Or, I mean, you and I are not that experienced catfish anglers. I mean, we're just gonna wing it, just because.
Yeah, we're just gonna try.
It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah. Laura Yeats from Pennsylvania has been helping me tremendously. She's the one collecting all the money. She's the one that came up with the idea for the tournament. And people do fall on unlucky hard times, and sometimes they don't want to ask for help. So other people have to just step up and help them anyway. So if you can, yes, please try to get in on one of those raffles or tournament with Dave Aw. Chris, you were in Salmon River.
Yeah, I couldn't make the veterans contest with you. Unfortunately, I had a trip pre-planned from all the way from last year. I mean, it's been a while. I went out to Salmon River with my buddy Matty Fish, and a couple other guys I met up there last year. All cool guys. Winfield Sport Club is the group. Real cool bunch of guys. I'm not really sure if I'd say, check them out to join. I'm not really sure what the process is, though. I joined up just from last year, just from fishing with them, and just kind of joined up after fishing with them that weekend. So I don't know how that works exactly, but anyway, it was a cool time. We went up Salmon River. We stay at the Double Eagle Lodge. They rent out the whole lodge up there. Real awesome place. It's got that lodge feel, but it's nice. It's all, the stuff is new, like the inside's all new. It's up to date, but it's not like fancy. It's just a nice place to stay. The owners are great. Super. The hospitality is insane. It's just a great time, and the fishing was pretty good. I mean, I don't really know. I'm still learning exactly how to salmon fish up there. It's for anyone that hasn't done it. It's not like any other kind of fishing, really. It's I don't know how you would.
Flossing. It's basically you're trying to get the hook into the fish's mouth legally without snagging it.
Yeah,
it's quite confusing, but
it's kind of weird.
It's more of hunting with a fishing pole than fishing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see a lot of interesting things up there and a lot of crazy shit. It's worth the ride alone just to look at the people and what's going on. But
yeah, I mean, before last year, I had never done it. I'd been up there. I'd fished for salmon in Lake Ontario before. I'd fished for steelhead in Salmon River before. I'd never fished for salmon in any river before. And I remember the first day that I did it, the very first time I ever did it, and they're trying to tell me what to do, and I get what they're saying, but it just takes some getting used to, and I couldn't really do it. Maddie ended up hooking a fish and passing it to me so I could fight the fish on the first day. This was last year. And, I fought the fish. It was fun, obviously. And then by the end of the day, I just remember thinking I don't think I like this. This is kind of weird. It's not for me.
It's
and
different.
I'm like, geez, I'm up here for 3 more days and I got to do this. I didn't like it. But, the people were awesome. I just hung out. Second day, I kind of got a feel for it. And once you accept it for what it is, it's a great time. I mean, it takes, I think I hooked probably, I don't know, 16, 17 fish maybe. Lost most of them, which I guess is the way it goes. I think I landed 7 or 8 of them. Only 2 of them were in the mouth. I mean, I missed the other ones, and it is what it is. But, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it that obviously I still have to learn. It's going to take years to learn. I don't get up there that much, maybe once or twice a year for a couple of days. But,
You know what I have to say that is hilarious? I've been going up there for 20 years with my Uncle Rich, and every year we go up there, he tells me the same thing. I don't like this. And these fish don't bite. I don't like this. But yet every year you find them there again anyway. Last year I took my kids up there for the first time. They've been to Wildwood, they've been to Hershey, they've been, it cost me a fortune all over the place. But they continuously say now that Salmon River is their favorite trip of the year. So
really?
Yeah, they love that. So they've been asking all year, like, when Salmon River, when they're waiting. So we're leaving 2 weeks.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I mean, you can't deny, it's awesome when you hook up to a salmon, and especially if you get them, in the mouth, and you can kind of fight them the right way. It's just awesome that they're launching themselves out of the river. I mean, 15.
Well, that's gonna kind of play into the topic of tonight's episode, because it pretty much determines the gear you have to use for what you're targeting. And it determines the way you have to fight a fish, because there are very different ways to fight certain fish to be successful at landing them. We did not include saltwater in this one because it's just going to be too much, but maybe we'll do a future saltwater one.
No, of course. I mean, you got to.
But the way that I have this set up is I have about 4 guys that are ready to come into the podcast to vote their opinions on the 3 categories.
Okay.
We'll discuss it with them and then kick them out when we disagree with them.
Okay.
And by the end of the podcast, hopefully we will crown one freshwater fish the supreme king of fighting.
I don't think you're going to be able to do it.
Well, let me ask you something. Of the 3 categories, pound for pound, speed and head shake, and power and weight, which one of those is the one that determines the best fighter overall? I mean, is it pound for pound? If you go by boxing, pound for pound he's the number 1.
Well, I mean, that's going to be part of my whole argument is how are you going to determine one fish off of that many? I mean, there's.
Well, I mean, you have to. A walleye, one of my favorite fish, it's eliminated immediately. It will not even be mentioned in this episode because it doesn't. It's not in the fight.
Okay, so you're just looking for fighting attributes. You don't like people we like to target walleye. People like to target walleye, not necessarily for their immense fighting capabilities, but for, I guess, more.
We like to target walleye because people don't target walleye.
Oh yeah, there's more.
If everyone started fishing for walleye like they do for bass, we would be fishing for something else.
No, I don't know about that. It's harder to catch. It's harder to get a walleye to bite than it is to get a lot of other species to bite. So I think that's where the allure comes from. I don't know. That'd be what I say.
All right, so let's start off. Let's start off pound for pound. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York. pound for pound, I'm going hybrid. Hybrid striped bass. I know the only people that are going to have an argument realistically against me is the smallmouth guys.
No,
But I don't know. Someone else may have a different opinion.
I don't. I mean, I don't think a smallmouth. I mean, well, maybe a river smallmouth. If you compare a river smallmouth to a lake hybrid,
So,
what
so
the
can
hell?
they see him?
Hold on,
Deuce?
hold on. A villain from
Deuce, can they see him or
Rocky and
no?
Bullwinkle just showed up on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So we
only
have
we
our
can-
first guy. Our first person has arrived. Max Kellerman. And he brought that freaky mustache with him. Oh God.
Please.
He just brought the creepy mustache. All right, Max, we just started the conversation. Here you are. Now we can see you. We just started the conversation. We
Unfortunately.
just started the fight on the first category. I said pound for pound hybrid striped bass. Chris is disagreeing with me immediately.
I didn't disagree with you. I disagreed with you saying that a smallmouth could stand up to a hybrid, maybe. I said maybe a river smallmouth versus a hybrid, but on top of that, before you cut me off, I was going to say more so than a smallmouth, I think the carp fishing guys are going to have more of an argument versus the hybrids.
I don't know. It's tough because I've caught 5-pound carp pretty recently. You know, I've caught 4-pound smallmouth pretty recently. I caught hybrids earlier this year, probably around the same weight range, and it's a really close call. I gotta say, you know, originally I always thought it was smallmouth, but until this year, I started thinking hybrids because they scream drag and they're really explosive with their strikes, and they're just a very aggressive fish. So are smallmouth, but I don't know. I think they're just a totally different ball game because they're brought from saltwater and introduced with another freshwater species to survive in freshwater. You know, I think it brings a different aspect to it.
So you're agreeing with hybrid for pound for pound.
I don't know, because you can get some pretty feisty smallmouth. You know what I mean? I've had some smallmouth.
You were supposed to come on here with ready with the answers. You don't know anything now?
Yeah. No. I've been thinking about it all day. It's a very close call
tell.
between it's close between hybrids and smallmouth. You know, I think.
So you're
I gotta
throwing
give it to
Chris's carp
smallmouth
theory,
in the
right?
long run, though.
Wait, all the
No, definitely not carp. It's not.
So
Really?
he just trashed your carp
Okay,
shit, and he's a
first of
carp
all,
guy.
No,
he
listen.
catches
Carp.
2-pound pond carp. Anyway, have you ever caught a big carp in a river?
Well, we're talking pound for pound. Now, smallmouth don't exceed, what's the world record smallmouth? Like,
All right, so
10,
What he
around there.
The carp has to go into the power weight category, not the pound
That's
for
what
pound.
I'm saying. It's not in the pound for pound category.
I
It's totally
agree.
different
Max
category.
Right. Chris, you're
Yeah,
confused.
Yeah, a 5-pound carp, you could just drag it out of the water once it's tired after 45 seconds. It's gonna peel your drag, yeah, but it's not gonna gonna keep up the fight like a smallmouth would. They'll let you bring them in, and they'll go all the way back out.
I've had hybrids just roll over and die after 30 seconds. They take one, smash it. They take one hard run, and then they just roll over and you drag them in. I mean, it depends on the fish.
But Chris, what fish are you giving your vote to, though? You're not giving us a fish.
I'm not. No, I'm gonna play devil's advocate the entire fucking episode.
Yeah, I get it, but like the hybrid bass, they're bred with what? White perch?
White bass.
White bass.
White bass? Yeah, but that's not like a crazy aggressive fast fish. It's not famous for being a strong fighting fish. I don't know. We don't really have too many of them around here. I could be wrong, but
no, we don't have any.
I don't know. It's not a true striper. It's not 100%, like a smallmouth is.
Well, if we were
it's definitely not carp.
Talking about saltwater fish, though, if we were talking about this in saltwater fish, the pure strain striper I wouldn't even consider them.
They go into the weight
tough.
and power category, just dead weight.
Yeah, they're brutes.
But all right, so
bruisers.
Basically, like I said, I'm just gonna play devil's advocate for now till the end of the episode. But so right now you're thinking hybrids versus smallmouths.
Yeah, I don't think carp's in it.
On pound for pound.
Not in pound for pound. Carp's in overall. They're in a different category.
I don't think if you take smallmouth or carp both from a river system, now you're in a completely different ball game.
That's what I'm saying. They're river fish. You're not
That
going to
being
find
said, I've never caught a hybrid striped bass in a river system. Not that I can remember.
Yeah, well, is it exclusive to rivers or is it,
What does that mean?
Yeah, either way, I think smallmouth takes it.
Hybrid comes out of a river, it'll be even stronger.
You would think, but I mean, you never know. I'm just saying I can't prove that.
Just so the bass guys don't kill me, I'll admit that I think a smallmouth hits the lure the most violently. But then again, I've never.
I think no. I'm going to disagree with you on that.
See, I
think the hybrids have this explosive, crazy power right off.
Dude, I don't know, man. The Delaware River smallmouth, when they hit the lure, it's like you just snagged a law. It just dead stop. It's crazy.
Yeah,
dude. Do you know how many lines? Do you know how many lines hybrid striped bass have snapped on impact?
I'm not, dude. I voted for the hybrid. I'm not arguing.
They're like little missiles.
I'm just saying, I think the initial strike of a smallmouth is more boom, like out of nowhere.
That's totally wrong. I don't even know why.
Whatever. All right, Max. Moving on now. Speed, and head shake.
Ugh.
Now, are we looking for a completely different fish now with just this attribute?
No, there are people like Kevin Cool voted for hybrid across all three categories.
I mean,
it's understandable. It's an awesome fish, man.
Yeah.
It's got so much power, so much aggression.
But this includes New York and PA.
No, absolutely not. I don't think so. Not a hybrid striped bass. I think he got so many other freshwater species to look at.
I don't even know.
Well, first off, for head shake and speed, I gotta give it to like a trout or a pike or a muskie or something. I mean, they're like little lightning bolts.
Jason Uhas voted pike for speed and head shake. I'm 100% obviously voting for steelhead.
Yeah, I was thinking like a huge rainbow or a steelhead.
But
because they'll take you up and down the river.
The landlocked salmon. But then again, like Scott Tarnowski said, the steelhead does have a tendency to tire out fast, but still that doesn't eliminate its initial power and speed. That is actually the fastest freshwater fish ever clocked. But
that's what I heard something about that. I was like 33 feet in a second.
33 point something feet per second.
That's ridiculous, man. That's so fast.
But there are saltwater fish that blow them away, like bluefin and wahoo and stuff.
No, you can't compare them.
Absolutely.
No, but what was I going to say? They tire out, but the initial run and the head shake, steelhead. But that's what I was going to say. The landlocked salmon, that's a fish that's getting no love from anyone in this who I have asked. It's a fish that's now pretty available in New Jersey, and it is known to have the highest aerial jumps of any fish on Earth. So why is that fish being left out of all the conversation?
I feel like you're making up some of these facts.
I don't know, because
no freshwater fish can jump
out of all the salmonids, you know what I mean?
In Atlantic.
I don't think it's not the fastest one. I mean, you got, if we're talking freshwater, what?
What's not the fastest one?
A landlocked Atlantic salmon? That can't be
the steelhead's the fastest one.
He said
the landlocked salmon is the highest jumping fish.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm saying he's just making
but that's not the category, is it?
I'm just making it up. No, it's head shake and speed.
Yeah, I memean, head shake, out of all the salmonids in the family, I'd have to give it to a steelhead or like a big ass rainbow. Personally, I've never caught a landlocked salmon as big as a trout that I've pulled out of the river. You know what I mean? I've seen bigger head shakes on big bows or something like that. Even a pickerel or a pike, they get pretty wobbly.
Yeah, that's why Jason voted for it. We have to get rid of Max now because we have too many more people that are trying to get in. But Max, we love you and thank you for voting. And thank you for going against everything Chris said.
Represent.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Chris sucks. Thank
See
you.
you later.
All right. All right. Can you drop me too? I'm tired of this already.
Chris has already had enough of this.
So, all right. So what's going to happen by the end of this episode is you're not going to solve anything at all because there's just too many variables.
No, I don't know. I think we're getting somewhere. So far from the show I've seen, and I believe Deuce would agree, the hybrid striped bass has been talked about the most.
I mean, it's hard to argue it, generally speaking, but I could add, parts of the hybrid striped bass fight that suck. They don't jump. They'll never jump.
That's true. All right. Well, this is why the topic is here, but you're not discussing it.
I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you because I may ultimately vote hybrid striped bass as well. But there's a lot of variables. Like I said, I want to play
this whole thing has actually made me completely question why I fish for walleye at all. Why am I fishing for them?
Well, because that's my point. There's other things that drive you to fish for any particular fish, right? If you like, being attached to a fish, fighting a fish, and seeing them fly through the air, and that's your favorite part of a fish fight, then you're not gonna enjoy as much fishing for hybrid striped bass.
That's why I threw the 3 categories in, so I kept everyone in the combo.
Right, and I mean, there's plenty of reasons to fish for walleye. I mean, they're just they're a harder species to get to bite. They're a harder species to find a big one of. I mean, you could go out and fish for hybrids, and it's kind of like it doesn't have the same appeal in that, they're a stocked fish. None of them are natural. They don't spawn, so you're catching a stocked fish. A lot of them are around the same size range. They kind of stunt out at that like 24, 25 inches. After that, they just start getting fat. I mean, if you catch one longer than 26 inches, it's an absolute monstrosity. It doesn't have, they're great fighters, possibly the best fighting fish we have in fresh water, but
we have our next voter has arrived to join the argument.
Who's this dark character?
Hold on. I don't know if they could see him yet. I'm waiting for Deuce to give me the clear.
Yeah, give us a second here.
We're good, Deuce? Okay, so there's Fast Eddie, ladies and gentlemen. Fast Eddie. Fast Eddie, so far, hybrid striped bass has been talked about a lot along all 3 categories. We've heard pike for speed, steelhead, but hybrid, it seems to be taking everything.
And also, before you get going, Eddie, Joe has been bashing walleye the whole episode.
I'm questioning why we fish for walleye, because in this contest, they just get put to the bottom.
I tried to explain it to him, but he doesn't understand.
But a walleye is a finesse fish. If you can't catch 20 to 30 walleye in a trip from November to December into January, it's a finesse fish. You're doing something wrong. If you can catch them on a night bite, yeah, of course you're going to catch them on a night bite. The night bite's one of the easiest bites there is, as long as you know how to fish for them at night. That's just my opinion. But yeah, finessing them out of 40 feet of water with an 1/8 ounce jig head, a Mr. Twister, and half a nightcrawler is a totally different game when the water temp is 32, 34 degrees.
Why an 1/8 ounce jig head? I'm using like 3/4 ounce.
It's all about cadence. That's the way the jig drops. It's about speed. It's what the walleye want. It's what they adapt to. You have to
all right,
adapt
Fast
to them.
Eddie starting a walleye fishing episode. We can't do this right now.
All right, but
I think Fast Eddie would agree. The walleye don't typically fight as hard as a lot of the other fish, I guess. So
no, they don't. They don't. It's
not
even in my top 8.
There's plenty other reasons to fish for them. That is the point. But
they taste good.
Fast Eddie, pound for pound.
Pound for pound, what's the best fighting freshwater fish? Why?
Steelhead.
Steelhead?
Steelhead, king salmon hybrid.
In that order?
In that order. But I have tiger muskie, northern pike as a close for top 3 as well. Because I've had northern pike in the river eat my lure, jump and hang themselves from a fucking goddamn tree branch and try to get the lure out of their mouths at the same time. So
actually Jason Uhas voted for pike too, so that's the second pike vote.
I'm a huge fan of fish that jump, like fish that come 3, 4 feet, 5 feet out of the water. Oh my god!
So he's right then and there. He's like I said before. He's dropping the hybrids a couple of steps because he wants to see the fish jump. Right? I said, some guys they love seeing the fish jump as one of their number one things when they're fighting a fish. Hybrid's never gonna jump.
Nope.
Eddie, let me ask you a question now, and I just asked this to the other 2 guys. I made a statement before saying that the Atlantic salmon is the highest jumping freshwater fish. Chris called me a liar for making that comment. Why? Okay, so you agree. You agree with me. So now Chris believes me because Jesus has said it is true.
I caught an Atlantic salmon off a dock in Lake George in Bolton Landing 20 years ago on a fucking spinnerbait. And it was my first one. And at that same night, the sun was going down. I caught a big lake trout as well. But anyway, this thing, I was using a 6-foot piece of crap rod, 1,500 size reel, just dicking around. And this salmon, holy shit! I don't even want to talk to. I didn't know what it was. I thought I hooked a kayaker. I don't know.
But that leads me into the question: how come nobody is mentioning that fish in this conversation? They're fast as hell and they jump high as hell, but yet no one's talking about it.
I put the hybrids up there as well. So you picture a fucking 12, 15 pound landlocked salmon, and then you got to picture a 12 to 15 pound hybrid out of like Wallenpaupack or Beltsville or Nockamixon. But then again, we got New York guys in here, and then all of a sudden I want to say, okay, but then we got landlocked stripers. I caught a landlocked striper out of Wallenpaupack a bunch of years ago, so that could be a top 3. But I'm from Jersey, so I mean.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
And then we got landlocked sturgeon.
Yeah, there's freshwater hybrids.
And we got a freshwater drum on Oneida that kicked my ass and wouldn't fit through an 8-inch hole 2 years ago.
Oh,
and this guy was here.
Eddie just screwed the whole thing up.
I could fuck this up every which way possible.
You just did. It's ruined. You just destroyed.
We got 3 states involved. That's why I've been thinking about this since you let me know it was going to happen.
You should have just kept it to New Jersey, dude. I got to be honest. I've never caught a landlocked striper from a lake. I've never caught a freshwater drum. So,
I've seen pictures of those people catching those drums in Oneida. That looks fun as hell.
They're so strong, dude. I thought my St. Croix was going to get smoked into 50,000 pieces.
No shit.
It was the strongest fish I hooked in every trip I've ever been to Oneida. And when I got it to the hole, it was like a fucking frisbee, dude. Like 2 frisbees put together. It was like,
Are they strictly bycatch or people target them?
I think you can target them because they catch them in they're like all over like the Midwest states, like Oklahoma, Tennessee, in the rivers. Freshwater drum, just sick fish.
A couple of guys up there make it sound like they're like a trash fish, like these stupid things get in the way. Like, how can a fish that fights that hard? I mean, it doesn't really make any sense.
It's like the same build as a carp or a sucker. It's bony. I mean, the guys up there, I don't want to be disrespectful, but they're fishing for meat. There's not many fish markets in PA and New York. When you get upstate, they want to fill their freezers for the winter ahead, blah, 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 you know?
And they're not good to eat, you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's like eating a fucking carp, in my opinion, I would imagine.
The mercury content in it, the book says not to even eat more than 1 piece a month.
Right,
and
right.
It says if you're a woman in childbirth years to eat 0 at all, ever. So I don't know how much of that shit you should be eating anyway, but
Right.
to each their own.
Well, is a freshwater drum the same fish as a black drum, or is it totally different fish, or is it just the same fish in freshwater or saltwater? Are we not sure?
It's totally different because it's more of a silver color, silver gray kind of color.
So it's a totally different species. It's not like the striped bass in the ocean and the landlocked striped bass. That's the same species. It's just one lives
Right. It adapted.
I could see the wormhole starting. I'm going to get a text message at 1 a.m. tonight that says, like, we need to go drum fishing. It's festering in his mind right now.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, God. Eddie, we have to kick Eddie out because there's 2 more people waiting to go on, and I want to watch Monday Night Football. Eddie, as usual, though, thank you so much.
I hope I didn't ruin the night. Thank you for having me.
You threw a couple new fish in that weren't, but your 3 picks were still safe. You want to plug anything before you leave?
Let me fuck it up more by saying don't forget the red tail catfish that somebody caught in fucking Hackensack River 2 years ago.
Get out of here. That doesn't count for anything.
I don't forget nothing.
I caught the red tail catfish in White's Pond in Waldwick.
I love that place.
Yeah, I caught it in there, and I sent.
All right, kick me out. Let me know what happens.
All right, kick Eddie out. Chris lost. That's what's going to happen.
I didn't even vote yet.
I
didn't vote for anything. What are you talking about?
Hold on. I'm answering a text message. I got everyone trying to climb into the podcast. All right, so far, in my mind, I'm hearing pike a lot, and I'm hearing steelhead a lot, and hybrid a lot.
I mean, hey, there's a reason we fish for everything, right? I mean,
well, we do, but other people don't, though. You know,
well, that I'll never understand how you could just pick 1 or 2 fish. I mean, there's attributes of every fish that other fish don't have. Like there's something to be given. Every fish has something to give. I mean, like, dude, like you're telling me if you know how to target big panfish and you go out there with a fly rod or an ultralight with real tiny gear and you're targeting big panfish, talking like 14, 16-inch crappie, 13, 14-inch plus perch, 9, 10-inch plus bluegills. Like, that's a freaking blast.
Absolutely. I agree.
They're fighting on that gear almost just as hard as anything else.
I agree 100%. The gear is relevant to the size, like a 3-weight, a 3-weight fly rod on a stock trout versus a 8-weight fly rod on a giant salmon. Let me know when we could see our next guest here.
Yeah, this is a guy who...
This guy's a marine biologist, so he really knows. Justin, I was just called a liar for making the statement that the Atlantic salmon's the highest jumping freshwater fish. Can you confirm that, please?
I mean, in the world or in Jersey?
I don't know, Chris. What do you think?
In the tri-state area.
Tri-state area.
I would say you're pretty close to accurate with the tri-state area. I've seen very few fish make it that far out of the water.
Wait, so are you guys just like assuming this, or did you look it up in a book? Like, where is this coming from?
I heard it somewhere. Like, I've been told if you're a fly fisherman and you have like $15,000 to waste and you wanted to go on the fly fishing trip of a lifetime, a trip to like the Chicago River in Canada to fish for Atlantic salmon is the ultimate. That's what I've been told.
I mean, I'm not arguing with you. I know you like to make shit up. So
I was told because it's the most aerial, it's the highest aerial fish, which gives it the appeal to the fly guys. But anyway, who cares? It doesn't matter. Everyone could Google. If I'm wrong, make fun of me. Justin, pound for pound, hardest fighting fish in the tri-state area.
The tri-state area. So we're including New York too?
New York, yeah.
I would say kings.
Really?
Yep, hook up with a trolling king salmon on the lake. I would say absolutely a king salmon.
Now,
You're just
pound for pound over a smallmouth and a hybrid.
yes.
Wow, okay.
I would put, if you just said New Jersey, I would say hybrids.
Okay.
I'm going to put out a controversial opinion here that I'm getting a lot of people for, but I don't think smallmouth fight that hard.
Yep. Hold on 1 second. We had a little bit of a hiccup here. Apparently, didn't come through. We got.
I didn't announce his name. It's Justin Lerner. I guess I just assumed everyone knows who it is. This is Justin Lerner. He's a marine biologist, a very well-renowned fisherman in New Jersey. One of our earlier episodes was of Justin Lerner. If you want to learn about him, you can go back and watch it. I'm totally sorry. Like, you just came in, and I was like, yeah, everyone knows who that is. I didn't even introduce you. But, okay, so pound for pound, he gave to steelhead. Now, I mean, he gave to salmon, king salmon. Now, speed and headshake.
I mean, so, and when I'm talking about kings, I'm talking about kings trolling them on the lake.
Okay.
When you catch them on the river, when they're fresh coming in, they fight real hard. But then the longer they're in there, I mean, some of the ones you see guys dragging out that are like zombie fish,
Yeah,
don't even have muscle anymore. So, but yeah, I mean, I think pound for pound, I've seen them completely empty a spool in 30 seconds. I would say kings. I mean, hybrids definitely for New Jersey. Pound for pound, I don't think there's a fish that fights as hard as a hybrid in Jersey. I mean, I love catching pike, but pike and muskies.
Again, pike, another guy. A lot of people have said pike. Like that, I thought smallmouth was going to be the big argument, but people keep throwing pike.
I mean, I love pike. Don't get me wrong, and they have some nice head shaking jumps. They have vicious strikes, but for a fight, I mean, a pike and muskie. I don't think that they have as much stamina in them as a hybrid.
No, they definitely don't. But let me see if I could throw a little wrench into your vote here. All right. So a hybrid's never gonna jump, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't play into your favorite fighting fish.
Well, so favorite fighting, I mean, I like fish that jump. And again, I would say, the landlocked salmon are definitely one of my favorite fighting fish. I think they fight really hard. They jump. But, I mean, for pure pulling power, I would say a hybrid. For all, when you're talking about the whole fight experience and a fish that jumps, I mean, I'd throw in salmon and wild brown trout in there too.
And what about for pulling power and like strength, like tank power? What about a carp?
It's a salmon. It has to be a salmon again.
I mean, carp are definitely up there. They're certainly underrated as far as a game fish. I mean, I think a carp way outfights, larger smallmouth bass, walleye, anything like that. I mean,
He just said a carp outfights a smallmouth bass.
Wow. Deuce, clip that. Carp outfights smallmouth bass. He is going to get blasted for that one.
Yeah, you're ruined. The whole mafia is
that's why we're here. Yeah, they're going to
toilet, but for the sake of the podcast, I have to be honest to my own opinions.
Oh God, I just had a marine biologist just rip bass. I love it. Best podcast ever. Justin, thank you so much for coming on. We have to kick you off because I got 2 more people come on. Thank you for destroying all the bass fishermen.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Justin. All right, so that's amazing that Justin Lerner just actually said that carp are better than largemouth bass and smallmouth bass. Our next guest, now I'm bringing in a New York perspective. Dave Katowski. Katowski is a guy who he's fished New Jersey most of his life. Now he's moved to New York. What, Dave? 10 years ago? How long have you been in New York? 20 years ago?
Almost 30.
Almost 30 years ago.
But that's almost half life.
And he's basically fished every tributary that exists on the Great Lakes. Dave, What is the pound for pound hardest fighting fish in the tri-state area?
Well, since the carp came up, that's a tough argument. I mean, that's a great fish. That's a great fish. It really is. But for me, it's always been smallmouth. You know, acrobatically, and if I know stripers. I mean, I don't know stripers personally. I know ocean stripers, but I don't know stripers out of Hapakong or any of that. I can't speak to that. But I know that for me, thinking about stripers and smallmouth, if there was a 30-pound smallmouth, man, you think you'd be able to, how long do you think that fight would go?
Wait, but you've never fished for hybrid striped bass?
I never really fished for them. I hooked one the one time that I was with Joe fishing that night till 3:00 in the morning on the Hapakong, but and it was wicked, but yeah, I just I mean
They don't have them, right? Yeah, you can't fish for them in New York. They're not available.
Not at all?
They're in I think they're in Rio Reservoir.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I feel like they don't get as big there though as we have them here.
No, I'd have to agree. I don't think that they do at all.
I didn't even know they had them.
I'm kind of in that loop with the guys that that fish that area up there, and I haven't heard of any real giants. Real like the ones I see at least coming out of the back home. I don't see that.
Now, what would you say in the next category of speed and head shake?
Steelhead.
Steelhead again. And
Steelhead's just come on. I mean, steelhead.
I know.
Time bright steelhead, and tell me that thing isn't the fastest thing you ever hooked. I've set the hook on a fresh steelhead, slightly downstream from me, and in half a second, it's 30 yards upstream.
But listen? I totally agree with you. But the thing that we were asking, and I want to know, is if somehow you were able to get on a river and get a 18-pound Atlantic salmon on the line, does it give the steelhead a run for its money?
Absolutely.
It does.
Absolutely.
We don't have access to fish like that.
Now, like maybe I haven't caught a ton of steelheads. I've done it a couple of times. The places where I've caught steelhead are they're smaller streams, and maybe it's because they can't run far without getting into some rocks and like going around rocks and jump whatever. I don't know. I didn't really consider them in this category, but I'm not going to argue it because I haven't hooked one in like open enough water to be able to say. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, and that brings us to like, it's on a fish by fish basis, because I've caught plenty of lackluster steelhead, but when I caught them that were fresh and hot and ready to go, it was pretty crazy, and I've caught a number of those fish, but I can't say that I've caught a higher number of those fish than those lackluster fish you're talking about, because I fished a lot of the smaller tribs going out to the Western Basin years ago when it wasn't lined with folks. I mean,
that's where I'm talking about. That's where I've caught most of my steelhead.
Yeah, and that's the place to go. I mean, if you want to catch steelhead and big browns.
What was that? What's the one brown you caught? Is 18 pounds?
There's a few in that 17 to 18 range. Yeah.
The one that you caught from the one river that it's a 2-word river that you're holding and it's like leaning against your belly.
Yeah, that was closer to 18.
Chris, I'm going to send you this picture. It's one of the biggest brown trout I've ever seen in my entire life.
Post it. I mean, that sounds awesome.
I gotta look. Dave, I appreciate you coming on so much and giving us your opinion. We have to get rid of you because I'm bringing on your favorite person, Adam Mihara, right out.
Oh, shout out to Adam.
But Dave, you gotta get down here and fish for hybrids some more, dude. Trust me.
I will.
He doesn't want to. He's boycotting the state.
Little brook trout fish or some.
You hate New Jersey so much you just left.
No, but
he doesn't want to fish with
small streams like John Garbarino, them little brown and brook trout streams. I got some of those up here too.
His new name's Gabagoony. We call him now.
We call him something different every time. We don't give
Gabagreeny.
Hey, slice him however you want. The guy can fish.
Yeah, he can.
Yeah.
On a hoverboard too. Cromer, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
You're the best.
Right. Take care.
All right, so we're down to the last one, Chris, and I saved the best for last for you.
So after you bash bass, you're going to bring on a bass guy?
Well, I have to give everyone a chance to voice their opinion, so I brought someone on from every region. So we'll hear the bass guy's side of the story, and then we'll end the show. Or we'll just let him come in here, and then we'll end the show before he talks.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, like, I know Lerner, said the carp's better than both of the bass, but I don't know. I don't know if he bass fishes that much. Maybe the smallmouth bass.
Listen, man, Lerner is a marine biologist.
I understand that, but
Justin Lerner's like me, bro. He's in love with salmonoids and trout, and that's all. He hates bass. What do you want me to tell you? I'm the same way.
I just don't get it. I'll fish for anything.
I'll die on the hill with Lerner now if I have to.
I'm not arguing with you. You don't have to die on the hill for me. I'm just saying, I just don't get the.
Look at this guy. He's in a smock. He's making a lure. Deuce, let me know when we could see this guy.
Why is he?
Oh, he's in. There he is. We have Adam Mihar of AM Anglers, AM Lure. He's probably you got a blurred background. He doesn't want us to see what he's making.
Adam, why are you pretending like this is a surprise? We told you you're coming on, and
why are you acting busy? You were supposed to be ready for this. You're acting like you were doing
very
something.
busy. I was on Instagram Live right before this, and I quit at 7:00, and it's an hour later, and you finally bring me on to talk about I don't even know what.
Chris told me to save the best for last. The person on just before you was Dave Katowski, and he gave you a shout out.
Oh, the boomer. I love the boomer.
Yeah, the boomer. It was the boomer.
But the guy on before that, Justin Lerner, just totally blasted bass. He just put him at the bottom of the list.
Adam, let me catch you up because you're last here. I saved the best for last for Chris. We've heard pike a lot, we've heard steelhead a lot, and we've heard salmon a lot. So far, it seems like the king salmon is the best winning so far. King salmon and steelhead. New Jersey, it seems to be totally dominated by the hybrid from top to bottom, except for Justin Lerner, who seems to say that the carp beats the smallmouth and largemouth.
Yeah. So I got a different take on this. We'll start with Jersey because that's where I'm at, right?
Yeah.
I would say that the gator bluefish is the hardest fighting fish.
Hold on a second. This is only freshwater, bud.
Yeah, it's in the text. No freshwater. No saltwater.
I totally believe that Joe didn't explain this to you properly. I'm not blaming you, but this is
no saltwater, Adam.
This is only freshwater. We're gonna do saltwater another time. It'll be its own thing.
I agree, though. Bluefish.
Freshwater and saltwater.
Can you redo it in freshwater?
Well, then you can't count salmon or steelhead because they're really actually saltwater fish. They're androgynous and they, go up the river into salt.
Well, not ours. Ours
Not
don't.
ours.
Here we have
We're in Jersey. We used to. The ones that you catch up in New York are fake.
Chris, can you read this?
They're not real salmon.
No, I can't.
They imported them.
You can read the top text. It says the topic of the podcast is the strongest fighting freshwater fish, Adam. Freshwater.
Oh, Adam, that's embarrassing.
He just said strongest fighting fish. He didn't say freshwater.
It's in the text. I'm posting the screenshot to Mayhem. Go on Mayhem Thursday.
Pound for pound, the strongest fighting fish in freshwater is a bluegill.
He's not the first person to say that. That was John Gabarini's boat. Gabaguli. What's his name,
And
Chris?
I think it's Grabagranny.
Grabagranny. He said bluegill for pound.
If you gave a bluegill the size and power of a king salmon, you'd never land a bluegill.
This is an interesting take here, Chris. I don't know how to respond.
I wouldn't go arguing against this because
I'm baffled.
It's hard to imagine. And I did say earlier in the show, I was talking about going after big bluegills on like ultralight gear. And you target 9, 10-inch plus bluegills on ultralight gear, and they rip you all over the place.
Do you think a 9-inch bluegill outfights a 9-inch stock trout?
Oh,
Absolutely.
Now, when Dave Katowski was just on, he said, imagine he picked pretty much smallmouth as the king, and he raised an interesting point where he said, imagine fighting a 30-pound smallmouth that was equivalent in size to a king salmon.
River Smalley or Lake Smalley? Because I do think that there's
Well, he was talking mostly about either or, but also he's from New York. He has no access to hybrids, so he doesn't really know much about catching hybrids.
Have you caught a lot of hybrids?
I've only caught one hybrid. It was at Spruce Run, and it didn't really fight that hard compared to, a largemouth or a smallmouth to me.
You definitely caught a dud. You caught like a sick one or something.
And I must have, because I thought that I had a largemouth on when I hooked it.
So you had largemouth.
What is happening now on this show? This show has lost its sanity as soon as Lerner mentioned carp. We'll move to the next category, Adam. Speed.
Why are you moving on?
We had a category.
He voted bluegill.
Categories.
There was 3 categories. This guy doesn't read his text messages.
New York. Those were my categories.
What's your What's your next category?
It would have been PA, and I would have said muskellunge.
This is what the thing says,
Wait,
Chris.
Why would you pick?
The topic of tonight's podcast is strongest fighting freshwater fish. New York, New Jersey, and PA only. 3 categories: weight and power, speed and head shake, overall pound for pound. He has the text right here. What's the confusion?
I don't think that's my text message. I don't think he sent that.
Adam Mihar, I sent the same text 2 times in a row to make sure you read it. For Christ's sake, I'm posting this all over social media.
I'm more confused. Why are you, because it's Pennsylvania, picking a muskie, when in New Jersey you're picking a bluegill? We have both places have both fish.
We have muskie here, but I don't think we have as many as Pennsylvania. And I'm pretty sure that the ones in PA get bigger.
Just so the viewers know.
I know a lot of guys that come over from PA to fish our muskie lakes. So
so the viewers are aware, Adam is from a place called South Jersey, which is a very, very far away country. So he may not be able to associate here with what's going on.
Adam, I'm dead serious. The guys from PA come here to muskie fish. I don't go there to muskie.
Yeah, there's muskies all over New Jersey, like within a very small area.
I don't have any muskie around me except for one river, and we're not allowed to talk about that place.
What currency do you guys use? American dollars? Is it?
We pay each other in pork roll.
Oh, you just trade? You're still on the barter system down there?
Dude, they pay each other in fake made-up meat.
Now, Adam, I'm expecting you immediately from South Jersey, and the whole reason I brought you on is because I'm expecting you to throw snakehead at me at that category, and you did do it. Now, snakehead didn't even enter the episode because of you.
I don't count them because to me they're not a game fish.
That's true, Chris. He's right. It's not a game fish.
So now he read.
He's right.
And he knows the rules of the.
He's right. No, I got to agree with him. It ain't a game fish. Doesn't count. He is correct.
So that means
Adam, what do you do to snakeheads when you catch them, Adam?
So I severed the spinal cord in order to dispatch them as quickly as I can.
Do you at least eat them, or do you just waste them?
I feed them to the turtles. I don't eat fish. It tastes awful.
The turtles do have to eat.
This guy's crazy. He doesn't eat fish. He thinks all fish taste awful. All
right, Adam. Thank you so much. You want to plug anything before we go to bed here? Monday Night Football's on.
Yeah, I do want to plug one thing. I'm about to do a auction on the Mayhem site In order to help out Dave,
You have your background blurred out, I think, so we can't see what's
That's
going
okay.
on.
I'm going to show you right here. I made this muskie plug,
Okay, nice.
Okay.
and I'm going to auction it off, and all the proceeds are going to go to Dave All and his fight against all of his medical and.
I believe it's mantle cell lymphoma, if I'm not mistaken.
We can see it pretty good. That's a nice looking lure.
That's a nice muscular. All right, so he's gonna.
Hardware on there.
Adam
Yeah,
has given his time to donate this paintbrush to be auctioned off for Dave Aw.
Yep.
And hopefully we can raise some money.
I'm curious. It looks like you paint your fingernails green, but other than that, how long does it take to make one of these lures?
Right now, it's taking me about 6 hours to make any one lure, whether it's a crankbait or something like this.
Is that is that wrapped in a tape, or is that how do you get the scales on that?
No,
it's airbrushed. No.
Yep, that's airbrushed. I made that scale pattern myself.
Oh wow!
And that is a floating wake bait. Is that what that is?
Correct. And I'll post up a action video because I did test it out just to make sure it'll work, like I always do.
Yeah.
We got double lip, extra large hardware. I even bought special 4 musky hooks for this thing, just to make sure that it was legit.
Dude,
that looks like a good striper plug too, though.
Yeah, you could use it for anything: bass, striper, musky, hybrid even.
That's a nice looking lure. I'll be honest. I mean, you're still
it is
a
nice.
weirdo from South Jersey, but that's a nice lure. You've come a long way making lures. That's cool.
He has.
Well, the ones I sent you before were a joke. I mean, I sent Joe a beetle for crying out loud. Come on.
He sent me a penis too. I didn't. I forgot. There was actually when I opened my package of lures, there was a penis lure. It's a golden penis with a treble hook on it. Thank you, Adam, for sending that. I will try it. I'm sure it will catch a bass for sure. We know that.
Oh, for sure it'll catch a bass.
Probably catch extra bass. Adam, thank you so much. You want to plug anything before we go?
No. If you wanna find my lures, you know where to find me. But this one's for Dave and
Dave the Dave lure plug, custom plug.
Just to be clear, you're gonna post that on the Mayhem Facebook page, and you're gonna auction it right from that post.
Correct. We'll do like a week-long auction, $1 at a time. Whoever has the highest bid at the end of the week wins the bait.
I will start it at $10.
All the proceeds from that will not go to me. They're going directly to Dave.
Oh, all to Dave? All right, I'll start it at $15 then.
All right, there you go. Started off at $15.
$15 bid from Joe Santiago.
But
he wants it to go in dollars. All right, Adam, thank you so much for coming on and voicing your opinion on no fish, but at least you're helping Dave. Thank you so much.
I do what I can.
I appreciate it.
Take care, dude.
See you, Adam. Okay, guys, please, I guess Chris was right. The episode's over, and I've achieved nothing and convinced no one of anything.
Here's the thing, right?
Please just subscribe, hit the subscribe button.
Just to conclude, the discussion, you knew it was there's no right answer, right?
Yeah, there is. It's a steelhead.
No, it's not, because there's way too many variables that come into play. You have to be more specific. If you want to say, what's the hardest fighting fish in this scenario with this gear and that.
Listen, when I thought about it, I felt like if I made it just New Jersey, it would be too easy because the choices are they're not that wide. I thought entering Pennsylvania and New York into it would be more interesting, and plus most of us fish those states anyway. You just got home from there, so what's the difference?
Yeah, no, I'm not. That's not the point. The point is, what do you say? Imagine catching a 10-pound bluegill.
I did, yeah, I did. That point when he said, "Imagine catching the 30-pound smallmouth," I that kind of blew my mind. I was like, you know what? Wait a minute, he's got a point here.
Right. So it's hard to imagine, right? You have to imagine if you're trying to pick the best fighting fish or whatever, even if you're not taking all these variables into account, you have to imagine this. So imagine you're using the same exact gear. Just call it a light spinning setup that you use in freshwater. Now you got to imagine the fish is all the same size, like nothing else is that. So say 5 pounds. You got to picture a 5-pound bluegill. You've never had anything close to that. 5-pound bass. Obviously, guys have caught that, so that's easier to compare. But then shrink it down. 5-pound muskie. That's a small muskie. I don't think I've caught one that small. I don't know how it fights.
See, I've caught a 19-inch muskie, but I don't know what it weighs because I don't care what fish weigh. It doesn't matter what they weigh.
You do. You made a whole pound for pound is the contest.
Well, you have to do it pound for pound because, like, if you go by like boxing is the perfect example. You can't just say, oh, well, Tyson Fury's the best boxer in the world and he'd kick Floyd Mayweather's ass. I mean, he's 100 pounds more than Floyd Mayweather. You have to go by pound for pound, so that's how they rank them.
Why not inch for inch?
Inch for inch. How would you do that?
Well, you do it by inches instead of pounds.
You want to measure the boxer's length and then compare them?
This is a fishing podcast, not a boxing podcast. I'm talking about the fish.
All right. Well, please hit the subscribe button. We have a ton of shit going on. Like I said, Dave Lowe's catfishing tournament. We're raffling off the Eddy Cooler. We're getting ready to go to Virginia to film a uncut, uncensored, live Blue Cat trip on the GoPro with Mark Medusky.
Right, we're doing it live now?
No, it's not. Well, it's uncut. We're doing it with the GoPro. We're not allowed to cut any footage. So that's the rule. So anything that happens while that GoPro's on during that trip cannot be edited. It has
You're not even going to cut out the boring parts?
If it's boring, I'll cut it out. But if it's embarrassing and horribly, like, humiliating, it stays 100%.
Oh, well, yeah, that's...
Also, if Medusky gets skunked and catches nothing, I will air a 6-hour video of him just fucking failing.
Oh, God.
But, yeah, guys, all we ask is for a simple click on the subscribe button. It keeps us going through all this. Huge shout-out to Captain Ron's Fisherman. Huge shout-out to Jerry Zagorski. Jerry helped us a lot with the Dave Law Cooler. So did Scott Tarnowski. Jerry's helping me get the NJFishing.com guys in on the raffle to help Dave. So thank you, Jerry, so much. And NJFishing.com.
Yeah. Guys, you got to be a part of all this stuff. You're missing out.
You really are. And I do want to, I know people don't want to hear it over and over again, but I was really blown away with that veterans tournament I was at. And I really, after this tournament, I really looked at it and said, these clubs are important. Like, you're standing there, you're looking at, I was watching the vets eat lunch, like they were eating the free lunch that came after the tournament. We got to eat with them and stuff. These clubs are so important, and the things that they do, you think that it's just like, I don't need to join, who cares? It's $25 to be a member for the entire year in either the Knee Deep or the RVTA. The events I didn't pay $1 this weekend. I went down there. I took the guy out fishing. I didn't have to pay a tournament entry. I got given a free Round Valley shirt. We got all kinds of door prize raffles. The guy, the vet, won a $100 gift card to the Sporting Life. I won $25 to the Sporting Life. Just all donated by local charities. The Sporting Life, the amount of Sporting Life gift certificates that were handed out at this event was astonishing.
And can I just say, I was in the Sporting Life buying some lures when Mike came in to ask Steve if he wanted to, that they were doing this veterans tournament, and hey, do you want to donate anything, as we're giving away stuff to veterans, like they're going to win stuff. And Steve was like, "Oh yeah," and just like start like basically made it rain donations like immediate.
It was crazy. There was 19 captains that took veterans out. The Sporting Life made sure that all 19 captains got a gift card to the Sporting Life automatically. So I got a $25 gift card just for walking in. And then I was entered in all these free raffles to win fishing poles and so the whole thing was just crazy. This all cost me $25 a year, and I got to talk to Rob Gatos. I got to watch Joe Sadowski fish. I got to ask some questions. I'm not going to keep rambling it on and preaching to the choir, but we need these clubs. We need them. I think they said, Chris, pretty much round that the RVTA seems to be on an upswing for the first time in a while. The new president, Mike Connery, seems very proactive in doing these new type of events. Andy Laffey seems to be helping him. And you have Mike Kay running the super tournaments from the outside. So you have, it's just great to be a part of all this stuff.
Yeah, it's easy to not really think about it and just kind of blow it off as far as, and the same thing goes for shopping at these local shops. Like, it's easier to just order it online. But you're shooting yourself in the foot. You really are. And, guys just don't realize it, I guess. And I'm telling you, think about it. You're getting your money's worth. It's like you're both donating, but at the same time, you're literally getting more than your money's worth from that small amount. And it's just like,
well, the thing that cracks me up actually with the RVTA, it's $25 to enter for the year. And then there's 5 or 6 club tournaments per year. You get $5 off each entry to the tournament. So if you actually join and fish every tournament, the entry's free because the $5 you saved entering tournaments, it paid for your membership.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. But even without wanting to fish the tournaments, you're still get your money's worth. Just if you go to,
you don't even honestly if you don't even fish tournaments or go to meetings or anything, just to give them the $25 and be a member and never show up to anything's fine. At least you still gave something and you're a part of it. You're a member. But that's it for tonight. I want to go watch football. But yes, huge shout out to everyone. So much positive shit went on this week between the vet thing and so many people helping out with Dave Law. Just hit the subscribe button, guys, so we can keep all this going. We do have shirts now, too. The shirts were posted on Mayhem by Max. We have long sleeve T-shirts for $17, T-shirts for $15.
A very limited amount, though, I will say. I mean,
no, they're not limited. We could make them as many as we want now.
Oh, we're taking custom orders now?
I mean, if we get an order, we'll take an order, yeah.
Because I still didn't get anything.
Well, you didn't order nothing. You got to Venmo me.
I got to order it?
Order what you want from me and pay me, and I'll send you shirts.
No, I want a free one.
I don't give out free shirts to people I don't know.
All right. Lips gave me a free shirt, and my own.
You go do a podcast with him. I don't give out free shirts. I'm not doing it.
This is ridiculous.
It's over. Hit the subscribe button, guys, so I can keep giving out free shit to everyone but Chris.
And guys, feel free to keep this conversation going down below in the comments.
Oh, this I have a feeling this conversation. Yeah, guys, he's bringing up a point. Stop arguing about the episode on Mayhem. Argue about it underneath the YouTube video. Stop bringing it back to Facebook. Argue about it on YouTube.
I mean, argue about it wherever you want. What does it matter? Just,
That's true.
Just
argue. As long as you're arguing, it's fine.
I don't think I'm not putting a vote. I mean, yeah, hybrids, maybe smallmouth. It just depends what kind of mood I'm in. I refuse to vote for number one fish. There's too many variables, and I think it's kind of,
How about you? How about can you biasly pick one as your personal favorite?
Well, that's kind of my point. Like, I love lake trout. I love jigging for lake trout.
Lake trout wasn't mentioned. You had the chance to present the case.
It's hard to argue on just fighting power with a lake trout. And, you know, and I'm not talking about trolling because that's the other thing. And you cut me off before when someone you were asking why are landlocked salmon not mentioned as much when it comes to fighting power, and I was going to say for the same reason that lake trout aren't mentioned, and that's because most people hook them trolling, and you're not going to get anywhere near the same type or strength of fight out of a fish if you hook them trolling versus if you hook them jigging or casting on a light gear with a lighter line.
That I agree with, and you've proven that to me because
and I'll tell you what,
catching a lake trout on a jig, they do fight like hell. I agree.
Guys got this hard on over smallmouths, which I'm not arguing with, but I have hooked smallmouth trolling in the same fashion. Guess what? They're not fighting that hard. It's about the gear a lot of the time.
Well, that's why I found what Lerner said. Lerner said that he's talking about king salmon in the lake. King salmon in the lake, to me, as the boat moves forward, the boat is pulling the line to the surface. As you reel the fish in, you're basically dragging it across the surface. I mean, if you hook a fresh king in the river in a decent amount of water, it's going to give you the fight of a lifetime. So I 100% disagreed with Justin on that point because I think the salmon, the river salmon would annihilate the lake salmon.
You're supposed to do this while they're on so that they can defend themselves.
Not didn't have enough time to do it. All right, maybe there'll be a part 2. All right, it's over. I learned, Justin. I'm sorry.
But you do have a good point. I was gonna say before you got rid of them, you know, if you could hook a king salmon out there on regular casting gear or jigging gear, which I mean.
See, I've always asked that question. Is there a Lake Ontario captain that would let you hook a fish and shut the motor off immediately? Just let me fight.
But Kurt Hofig, that was, you know, he was supposed to come tonight, like you said. We'll have him on a later time. He wanted to jig a king salmon, and he did it. He was finally able to do it. I don't know how long it took him. I don't know the details of it.
All right, save that for when he comes on.
Oh, I am. I don't know anything about it. I'm just saying.
That I need to hear about.
Yeah.
Like a big king salmon?
Yeah, like a nice king salmon. I don't, like I said, I don't remember the details.
How come no one does it? Like there's 1,000 boats on the lake, they're all trolling. Like they're
not as efficient. Like, you know,
yeah, but it's more fun, no? Like I would pay a guide to say, take me jigging, let's try it.
Yeah, but if he said you're gonna pay all that money and he's gonna say, oh, there's, you know, you might have to come 8 or 9 times before we get one versus I could troll you up 8 or 9 fish most of the time.
Do you think it's that hard to jig? We can't do this right now. All right. We'll be back next week.
You know it's not hard, Joe? Getting you to extend the show over and over again repeatedly.
The show's over, guys. Hit the subscribe button. Buy Dave Locke a Yeti cooler, and we will see you next week.
Take care, guys.